Hello, everybody. I'm going to give some people a minute here to get in, and then we will get into today's topic, which I'm super excited to dive into. It's going to be a ton of fun, and it's one of my favorite topics to cover. I'm really excited about it. Luckily for me, my wife Amanda handles it most of the time nowadays. But today we're talking about meal prep and hacks that you can do to save some time. So I'll give you guys another 20 seconds before I kick it off and get started here with some practical hacks for you. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. All right, we're a minute in. Let's kick it off. So, if you guys are watching this live, I would really appreciate you if you commented live on this video. And if you are watching the replay, you can comment replay. What that's going to do is show this to more people so that they can get access to some of the hacks and tools that we're using to help women lose weight, right? And it's going to help more women if we can drive more comments on this post and show it to more people. So if you can comment live if you're watching this live, replay if you're watching it replay. Okay, so today's topic is meal prep hacks and how you can use meal prep to lose weight and boost your energy without wasting all day in the kitchen, right? You don't need to be spending a ton of time. And I want to show you some ways to be more efficient and to prep healthy food that actually tastes good and not use up your whole day. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so meal prep hacks. All right. And if you guys have any questions throughout this whole thing, drop them in the comments. I can't really see them, but I will get to them right after and answer any questions that you guys have. So I appreciate you for commenting, and I will answer questions. All right. Let's dive in. Meal prep hacks. So why did meal prep in the first place? Well, honestly, when people tell me or people say I do not have time to meal prep, that is backwards thinking. Meal prep done properly should actually save you time throughout the week. It should also make your life easier, and it should help you reach your goals faster, right? You just need the right strategies in place to make that happen. But prepping your food every single time you go to eat, like cooking one meal at a time, is way less time efficient than it is to meal prep and be prepared, okay? And so meal prepping will actually save you time. We just don't need to be blocking off an entire day on Sunday to make it happen, right? So number one tip for meal prep, tip number one, I shouldn't say it's the number one tip, but it's the first tip, is to plan ahead. And I typically recommend planning your grocery trip in the Notes app, like I have here on the right, because what it allows you to do is you can check those little boxes, and then next week you just go uncheck them, and you have your whole grocery list already compiled again, and you just have to change a few things. So this is going to allow you to recreate your list easily from week to week and compile a list at the bottom of like dinners that you like with all the ingredients in it. So you just pick and choose which ones you're going to have. Right? Because the truth is, most people eat the same meals over again. We have like 10 meals that we cycle through, right? And we're having to think and use our brain power to create a new list every week when really we should just have something there that's easy to access, right? In general, also planning ahead is going to save you a ton of time and bandwidth, right? We just using our energy to think about these things, like it takes a lot of energy. And you have way more important other things to think about and to focus on than like what actually goes into your grocery list, right? So let's save your brain power for something better. Plan ahead. The Notes app in the iPhone, I don't know about Android, or a Google spreadsheet is great too. Okay. My second tip. This is my favorite tip that I have in here, I think, out of all of them, and it's just to simplify your meals. We use what's called the 5-ingredient rule, which basically means we don't make a meal that has less than or more than 5 ingredients, right? We see people all the time try to make these complex meals in their prep, and it just takes way too much time to like add all the spices and do this crazy meal, and then we end up just like having 4 meals prep that taste awesome, true, but we just don't have enough to cover us for a good period of time, and we're having to prep way more often because of it. And so create simple meals and use spices to change the flavors, keep it interesting, but no more than 5 like hearty ingredients that you're going to use. Tip number 2. Number 3, cook in bulk. This is called I don't have a good name for it, so it's the dinner, lunch method. That's what I call it. And what that basically means is that you're going to cook dinner on Monday. You see over here, right? We cook dinner on Monday, and we're going to use it leftovers for lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, so we cook once and then we eat basically 3 times here. So you cook in bulk on that Monday night, use it Tuesday and Wednesday for lunch. Then you cook again on Wednesday night, and you use it for Thursday and Friday. Cook again on Friday, and use it for Saturday and Sunday lunches. And what that allows you to do is only have to cook 3 times in the week rather than cooking 7 nights of dinners, right? Now you will have to I'm sorry, 7 times for lunches, right? You will have to choose different dinners here. But if you make enough leftover, you can do dinner, lunch, dinner, and the next lunch, right? I know it's a lot of the same meal in a row. So you might want to strategize. Like sometimes I have people do this. I have them do dinner, lunch, lunch. And then whatever they make for dinner this day, they also eat on dinner this day and this day, right? And so we're just trying to reduce the amount of times that you have to cook because it takes time to cook one meal, right? It takes the same amount of time to cook one meal as it does to cook a lot of meals. So we might as well cook a lot at one time. All right. Next is multitask your cooking. Use this. So if you use multiple cooking methods at one time, you can cook a lot of things at one time. So if you are boiling rice on the stove and you're grilling beef and you're pressure cooking chicken and you're roasting green beans and you're sauteing peppers and onions, that can all get done at the same time. And then you have a ton of different meals you can cook. Maybe you also have sweet potatoes in the oven at the same time as that, right? So now we have all these different combinations of foods that we can mix and match and use to create our meals. Okay, so just cook it. Use different cookware in simultaneously and try to multitask. Right, this is a woman multitasking. She's not cooking, but you get the idea. All right. Next tip: bulk storage. So this is where you cook a bunch of your food, but you don't pre-package it into individual containers. So I see a lot of people like prep their food for the week, and then they take those bulk products and they separate them into like their actual lunch that they're going to eat. And that takes a lot of time to do. And that's a fine way to do it if that works for you. But if you don't want to spend the extra time, what you can do is just take all of the chicken, put it in a big container and put that in the fridge. Take all of the broccoli, put that in the fridge. You get the idea, right? And you don't have to choose those foods, but whichever ones you like, you're storing those in bulk. And that'll allow you to do the mix and match method that I just talked about, where you can be more creative and like take the chicken and combine it with the sweet potato for this meal, and then maybe next time you're having rice and and quinoa or whatever it might be, and so you're mixing and matching throughout the week, and then you don't get bored of eating the same thing over again. Okay, bulk storage, super helpful to save time. You can only do that though if you have time to portion out your meal at the time that you're going to actually go to eat it. So if you're someone who's like busy on the go during the day and you're not going to be able to portion out, you might want to do that at night, the night before, or you might want to pre-portion them out for the whole week. Okay. Next tip, multi-purpose ingredients. So use multiple ingredients use the same ingredient in multiple different meals. And so, for example, if you roast an entire bag of green beans, you can use it in 2 different dinners that you have, right? And so I think we get confusing when we try to have something different every single day, right? You can make little changes, like switch out the protein, switch out the carbohydrate, but you don't need to switch everything every single time. It's just going to get really hard to maintain. Okay, so multi-purpose ingredients. Here's a salad meal prep hack. So personally, I don't really advise my clients eat salads very often, and I don't typically eat them. But if you are going to go eat salad, put the dressing at the bottom of the container. Because if you put it on top, the salad gets soggy and then gross, right? And sometimes carrying around an extra little container of dressing can be annoying, right? So put it at the bottom of your container and then put the salad ingredients on top, and it won't get as soggy. Okay? That's the salad meal prep hack. Next hack, frozen fruit. Frozen fruit is cheaper and lasts longer than fresh fruit. Fresh fruit probably tastes a little bit better, but it's just as nutritious this way, right? And so if you're going to be using smoothies, you can use it in smoothies, or you can let it thaw and just like put it in your oatmeal or yogurt or cottage cheese, and you can even just eat it plain. The benefit of having frozen fruit too is when you thaw it, it gets like this juicy, like kind of flavor, and it's kind of nice. It tastes extra sugary, and it's delicious, and it's not any more sugar than a traditional fresh fruit would be. So use frozen fruit. Next tip, make it fun. like I think we avoid meal prep because it's not fun, right? And it's not an enjoyable process. And so if you can like do things that make it more enjoyable, like adding in your favorite music or listening to your favorite podcast while you do it, it's just going to make it more enjoyable and increase the chances that you actually do it. So do it with a friend, listen to music, listen to a podcast, do something, and make it more of an enjoyable process. Okay. The next thing is this isn't cooking with a friend. This is planning with a friend. So you can actually trade planning duties where you guys have like a shared note on your phone and their phone. And one week you plan all the meals out and the grocery list, and the next week your friend can go plan it. This only really works if you have similar family and similar like styles of eating, but it can be really helpful in you just like taking out brain power for an entire week. Your friend creates the list one week, you create the list next. It makes it a lot simpler. And as an accountability buddy so that you know it's going to get done because your friends are relying on you too. Okay. Grocery delivery. This is maybe the biggest hack to save time. Like, you do not need to be going to the grocery store. Grocery delivery is cheap. So if you are someone who is at the point where like you value your time more than, if you're struggling with time more than money, then you might want to think about adding in something like grocery delivery where you don't go spend 2 hours making your list, going to the store, driving there, doing the shopping, driving back, like have someone do that for you. That's what these services are for. And they're not that expensive, to be honest with you. So like, I think Stop and Shop maybe it does it for free and you just have to tip the guy. So there's definitely like a lot of benefits to doing this. It saves you a ton of time. Get your groceries delivered. It's much easier. This slide is titled wrong. This isn't grocery delivery anymore. But the main takeaway of all of this is that meal prep is really critical to your weight loss goals. Like, you have to have some way of being prepared for the week, because a lack of preparation is the same as is going to set you up for failure, right? And so you need to find a way that gives you back your time and energy instead of taking it away from you, and develop your own strategy that you enjoy and works for you, right? And so I just realized that my face hasn't even been shown the whole time. So we have a 1-page guide right here that is our 60-minute meal prep hack. And it's basically how you can prep all your food for the week in under 60 minutes. If you want that, just comment meal prep on this live video and I will send it to you. And yeah, it's super helpful. It's how I used to prep my food and cook all my food for the week in under an hour. It's great. In addition to that, we have a new recipe book that's coming out, which is really cool. We're working on, it's almost done, but it's basically our Hormone Harmony cookbook. And so it's 35 recipes that are going to help you balance hormones and kind of like restore metabolism here. And I'm super excited for it. We have a ton of recipes in there. They're all delicious. And we're just kind of in the process of putting it together to give out. So if you want that, you can comment cookbook on this live video as well. And when that is done, I'll send it to you. That's what I got for you guys today. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments. Shoot me any questions related to meal prep, nutrition, or anything else, really. I'm happy to have a conversation and answer anything you guys got. But that is the live training for today. I am super happy that you guys joined me, and I hope that your meal prep goes more smooth next time and you can incorporate some of these hacks that we talked about today. All right, guys. I will catch you next week. And again, any comments you guys got, any questions, drop them in the comments section. See you guys later.